think that you guys, I feel bad for the position that you've been put in. I guess we're kind of, you're explaining to the rest of us why things are going. I really don't think you need to apologize for the trouble or for really being misquoted. I think whenever, we've seen it numerous times in Raga Township, from the nuclear waste dump to I-73 to dairy to now the wind. You know, you can always debate the facts, but if somebody doesn't want to debate the facts, then there's very little you can do. And I brought this disc along just for fun. Well, but it's Wind Energy Guide for County Commissioners. It's put out by the U.S. Department of Energy in 2006. And I think those of us that were on the committee back then went into this with eyes wide open, thinking that, you know, there was just upside potential. And unfortunately, that's not always the case. So I just want to thank you guys for what you're doing and keep up the good work.
One more thing here that I would like to put on record in the notes is we've heard several times that the life flight and emergency cover for the area would not be able to operate. I have a letter here that I would like to minutes today that come from Ann Arbor.
Well, that's what I thought they did.
With them on life flight and it was something as far as covering the area and the area. Very helpful with this a little bit. Carson's here that's in charge of the local.
I have a letter from Pearl Medical by the grant. I don't have it.
In other words, you got this letter saying just the contrary.
Yes, it's saying that there's not a problem in any way with the choppers flying. This particular group flies out of Ann Arbor. They cover this area and they also cover the thumb area where the turbines stay there for a period of time.
We receive a lot of calls when the antis put out this information. They dream up all these things that I don't know what the odds are of it ever happening. But when they make statements that you won't get no warning on your TV because the wind turbines will chop up and make spaghetti out of the signals, and that you know that you won't have no tornado warnings. This is going to happen. We've had to do a lot of extra homework to go to the source for people who like and them tell that they'll be there at a scene and that there will be no problem. And I believe that Curtis, I think Carson. He was contacted through the police and fire chief of Raga, because the Raga police chief was pretty concerned when antis were saying that the radios wouldn't work during fire alarm and so on and so forth. Yeah. But that has been cleared that that's not, I think, a problem. It takes time to go through their concerns. I don't have a problem with having concerns. I just have a problem with them taking and threatening people and using. I wish people would investigate their things before they make allegations of things like that. The TV thing, I don't have any knowledge of TV. There is a possibility that Channel 40 does have a good claim on it. I do know there's people right now that can't get Channel 40 now, and there's no wind turbines up. So obviously those people that can't get Channel 40 now are not going to get it. Apparently when the turbines go up.
Anything else? I know Randy's short on time here, so we're going to jump over to him and let him.
Okay, I received a letter, both on the behalf of our bank and also a letter on behalf of the Lenawe Ag Advisory Board, and it's in regards to the Breakfast on the Farm summer event that's being planned. It will be held on June 25th at the Raymond and Stutzman Farm near Morenci. They'll be serving breakfast and then take a tour of the modern farm featuring the latest technology equipment used in agriculture. This is a free, fun-filled event and will be educational driven for a family outing, so that anyone that's not, borrow the words, a steward of the land or a farmer, to become educated on the general operations at a farm. And they're asking for our support, choosing a sponsorship, basically that through the donation, it'll cover the cost of advertising, the promotion, the food and supplies. As sponsor, you'll be recognized on a statewide website for breakfast on the farm, and on the day of the event, your name or logo will be prominently displayed in a central location on the farm as well as on the day's program. This is a joint event of Southeast Michigan and Northwest Ohio. I've been personally contacted by one of my agricultural business acquaintances in Ohio to display displays at our bank in the Ohio market. And as far as the sponsorships, sort of creative how they put the sponsorships together. If you're involved in meat grading, you'll understand they have Prime, Choice, and Select. The Prime is $500 or greater donation. Choice sponsorship $250 to $499, and then Select up to $249. And need to respond by May 1st to the Michigan State Extension. And that's pretty much the gist of it. I was contacted by a couple individuals to our group to solicit our support in this event.
What, any idea what the cost might be of the day's expenditure?
No, they did not give me any cost estimates.
It's highly variable. There's 8 of these happening in the state this year. There were 4 last year, I think, and then it started the year before that. And the expenses vary depending on donations. Last year, the event was held at Horning's Dairy Farm in Manchester on Pleasant Lake Road, and Domino's Pizza donated all of the food, the breakfast pizzas, so they didn't have to purchase any food items for that. Kroger donated milk, and Meyer donated water, and so they didn't really have a lot of expenses in terms of the food items. And so the fewer the donations there are for the food items, the more expense there is in purchasing the breakfast food. So they don't know until they get through the process. There is some money left from last year's Breakfast on the Farm that Washtenaw County has given to Lenawee County, because we did it in a multi-county collaborative last year. All the counties that were involved, there was representation from Jackson, Lenawee, Monroe, Washtenaw County put that one together last year, and those same counties are participating in this year. So next year, I think the intent is to move it to Jackson County someplace. So there are some residual funds from last year, but so there really isn't a good, definitive amount of money that the group needs. So it's hard to answer that question.
In your opinion, is this going to be a 1 year? Is this going to be a 1 year request exclusive, or are they going to come back to us next year?
Well, from Lenawee County, I mean, it's not to say that they're not going. They're trying to target as many donors as they can from the county that the event's hosted in. So last year, when it was in Washtenaw County, there weren't. I mean, they might have asked. I think they talked to Baders because they work with the Hornings and some of those kinds of things. But I don't think there were a lot of requests made of Lenawee County businesses last year for the Washtenaw event. So they're more targeting donations from this area next year. So when it moves to Jackson next year, it's not to say they wouldn't come back and ask again if you supported it, but, you know, since it's not housed in the county, it certainly gives you a little more latitude to say it's not a county function we're gonna pass. But they try to move it around to have the donations come from where the event is being held.
And I know they've made extensive efforts to get information out to the general public that is not involved in farming, so that they attend this event.
Right, the ticket
That's-
locations are typically libraries and other, you know, other general population places to visit, so that you get a real good draw from the non-ag communities to come to this. There were nearly, I think there were 2,300 people or something last year that came to Hornings on that day. So, and I think it was, I don't remember, Nancy Thalen, who's heading this up, has the statistics better than me, but I think I'm pretty sure I've heard her say in the past that last year it was 46% of the participants at the event had never been on a farm of any kind for any reason. So, I mean, nearly half of those 2,300 people had never even been to a farm. Most of the rest of them, I think it was 76% or something, or 80% plus, weren't involved in any kind of agriculture at all. So, you know, you get a few farm neighbors that come and things, but typically it was very heavily populated by people that aren't part of the farming community.
Well, if we need a response by May 1st, that's before our next meeting.
Any thoughts?
I move that we support this event to the level of sponsorship of Prime and donate $500 towards the cost.
Any discussion?
I just think it's a good idea. You want other people to understand what you're about. And I'm interested in my wealth, I really do. And it's in our county, and we need to step up.
And I would think anything we could get displayed there, explaining our efforts here, might be beneficial in our cause.
Let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
I'm gonna have to excuse myself at this time, I got another meeting.
Have a good night.
See you, Randy.
Have a happy Easter.
Keep that money flowing.
Jeff, you had said something on old business.
Yeah, old business. Last meeting, I think it was that Ken Lake gave a report on an article he had in the Telegram on the benefits that the ethanol plant has brought to the area. And I requested him to add that to our minutes, or submit that letter to the minutes, and I see that.
Here's a copy.
Okay.
I don't know how many I have.
I would like to have that submitted to the minutes at this time.
Okay.
You got it?
Everybody got one?
Ronnie, you keeping up on everything?
Does Ken have that on the internet?
Yes.
I am doing my type of,
I do.
Good,
I got
yes.
that.
That's the only person you
I
got
have it on
sent
the
by
internet.
yourself
and
today.
then I have to
Scan
go
it
home.
in and
There you go.
Right away, I don't want to know what I'm talking. My type of shorthand,
You
I
did
don't
copy,
have
Ron?
shorthand.
They're gonna put it on the internet for me.
You can go and have some made.
I'll have one this scanned and then sent out with the minutes.
That's been one of the, regardless of some people's opinion, that has been one of the great things I think it's come out of this.